जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी जय गोपी वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन जमुना तीरावनचारि जमुना तीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल. So Hare Krishna, now let us proceed with the shloka. Let me share my screen. So before I begin, I would like to seek all your prayers and blessings. I want to thank His Grace Matrapati Prabhuji for giving me this wonderful opportunity for explaining Srimad Bhagavatam class. So it's a mutual learning. I hope my screen is visible. We are today discussing Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.48.
Yes, Prabhu, your screen is visible.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So Hare Krishna, we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, canto number 1, chapter number 9, and shloka number 48. So I request one of the devotee to please become my chorus. So we will start. Tatho Yudhishthiro gatva Saha Krishno Gajavayam Pitaram Santavayam Asha Gandharim cha tapasmanim. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Word by word meaning. Tataha, thereafter, Yudhishthiraha, Maharaj Yudhishthir, Gatva, going there, Saha, with Krishna, the Lord, Gajavayam, in the capital name, Gajavaya, Hastinapura, Pitram, onto his uncle, Dratarashtra, Santavayam Asha, consoled, Gandharim, the wife of Dratarashtra, Cha, and Tapasvinim, an ascetic lady. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thereafter, Maharaj Yudhishthir at once went to his capital Hastinapura, accompanied by Lord Sri Krishna, and there he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari, who was an ascetic. Purport: Dratarashtra and Gandhari, father and the mother of Duryodhana and his brothers, were the elder uncle and aunt of Maharaj Yudhishthir. After the battle of Kurukshetra, the celebrated couple, having lost all their sons and grandsons, were under the care of Maharaj Yudhishthir. They were passing their days in great agony over such a heavy loss of life and were practically living the life of ascetics. The death news of Bhishmadeva, uncle of Dhritarashtra, was another great shock for the king and the queen, and therefore they required solace from Maharaj Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira was conscious of his duty, and he at once hurried to the spot with Lord Krishna and satisfied the bereaved Dhritarashtra with kind words from both himself and Lord also. Gandhari was a powerful ascetic. Although she was living the life of a faithful wife and a kind mother, it is said that Gandhari also voluntarily blindfolded her eyes because of the blindness of her husband. A wife's duty is to follow the husband's 10%. And Gandhari was so true to her husband that she followed him even in his perpetual blindness. Therefore, in her actions, she was a great ascetic. Beside that, the shock she suffered because of wholesale killing of her 100 sons and her grandsons also was certainly too much for a woman. But she suffered all this just like an ascetic. Gandhari, although a woman, is no less than Bhishmadeva in character. They are both remarkable personalities in the Mahabharata. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामयं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं श हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जय पताका स्वामी नामने नमाचार्य पदाय प्रभा प्रदाय गौर रामदाय गौरराम कारणे मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्री गुरुदिनकारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। So Hare Krishna. Today we are going to cover a few topics. I will just mention in the beginning and then we'll try to cover as much as possible. So in the beginning, we are going to compare the mood of Yudhishthir Maharaj, who was the leader at that point of time, and what is the mood of the leaders today. So it can be politicians, it can be other leaders also managers, bosses, etc. So we will compare the mood of both of them. Then we will also know how Yudhishthira was well versed with the scriptures, well versed with the guidance provided by the Lord, and always follows the guidance of Supreme Lord. And then we will see who was Dhritarashtra and what learnings we get from Dhritarashtra's character. You know, what warnings we get, do's and don'ts we come to know from the Dhritarashtra's character. And then we'll also see in brief that what should be the attitude of a devotee and what is the duty of a woman. And also we will in the end dwell a little more on the point, what is the urgent need to preach. If you really want to safeguard the society and people, then there is an urgent requirement of preaching. We will discuss a little bit as we proceed. And then we will also hear how Lord actually bewilders the atheist people who do not believe on God. We will see how much we can cover. But as of now, let's proceed. So the very first point here, if you see in the translation, Prabhupada is mentioning that who is going Yudhishthir Maharaj along with Lord Krishna, he is going to console Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. So Dhritarashtra and Gandhari are in a situation which is very difficult for them now, and to an extent they are responsible for this situation which they are in now. And it happens to us also. Whatever we face in our life, it is just the reactions of the karmas which we have done in our this life and also in the past life. I was discussing with a devotee, so that person was mentioning, Prabhu, I completely agree that these karmic reactions work really fine, because I have done so many sins in my current life only. What to talk about the previous life? So he was sharing this with me. So it is a fact that whatever we face in our life, it is the result of the action which we have taken in our previous lives, or in our in our life in this lifetime also. And sometimes we are still continuing to do the same mistakes again and again, thinking that okay, we have become the devotee, now nothing will happen. No, it is having an impact. Every action will have a reaction. We have read this in science, right? So we have to be careful in our dealing. So in this situation, Yudhishthir Maharaj is going to console. Now you see how nice character Yudhishthir Maharaj has got. So I was hearing a lecture of Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So he was mentioning Yudhishthir means somebody who is sthir in the yuddha. So there is a yudh. Yudh means war. There is a war going on with Maya all the time. And in our day-to-day life also, we see there is a war situation. Correct? We go to office. If we go late, there's a problem. If we go early, we get some extra work. Sometimes we get stuck in traffic. Sometimes we are not feeling well. Sometimes the weather is troubling us. It was too hot a few days back in Bangalore. Sometimes when it rains, we become happy. But if it rains too much, then again there is a water logging and some issues. So some or the other issues keep coming. It's a war situation. So how we should be sthir, which means stable in this war situation, is explained by the character of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir, Yudh and Sthir. Somebody who is stable in the war is called Yudhishthir. So Yudhishthir was always very stable in his duties and in his actions. So you see, when he won with this great war, just imagine how much proud Yudhishthir should be that okay, finally I have emerged victorious, and now I'm going to become the king of this entire creation, entire material world. I'm going to rule. So Yudhishthir should be very happy. But you see, we have studied in the previous shlokas that Yudhishthir was not very happy after winning. He was actually lamenting because of the deaths of so many people. So many people died. So he was lamenting that there are so many people who are dead. Then we also see that after turning victorious, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was not celebrating that okay, I have won. Like nowadays we see, I remember in the previous, last year, when there was election results out, and we see that Congress party emerged victorious in the last election, last 1 year, 1 year back. So I noticed that whatever offices which were under the control of BJP and the BJP leaders' names. So what they did the very next day, they covered their names with a sticker or something. They didn't want to show the names of the BJP party anymore. So they just covered in a span of few hours. They didn't want the previous ruling party's name to remain there. And also we see that when the election results are out, people are celebrating, dancing, enjoying, and having the beer or whiskey or drinks party. And there are so much of nonsense, nuisance which is created. Correct. So this happens when other people they come to power. But you see the power, the mood of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He comes to power and he's lamenting because he is considering himself to be the cause of so many deaths. And then when, after winning, he's not saying okay, let's publish some articles in the newspaper, or let me publish some invitation to the kings around the globe and invite them because now I am victorious. He's not having that mood. He is rather thinking about Rashtra. Remember, he is the same Dhritarashtra who is the cause of so many troubles for Yudhishthir. We will hear this when we talk about the character of Dhritarashtra. But Yudhishthir Maharaj is trying to console. He's trying to console Dhritarashtra and Gandhari because he's aware of the fact that they have lost their 100 children. And not only 100 children, they have lost the entire kingdom, and there is a big, trouble which they are in today. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, having completely understanding that factor, he tries and he goes along with Krishna to console Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. So he also takes care of Dhritarashtra. We see that it was not that Yudhishthir threw them out of the kingdom. Even after winning, he was taking very good care of Dhritarashtra. He was respecting them. He was taking his blessings, and he was coming to his room, greeting him all the time, every day, and he was treating him with a lot of respect. And then after all this, he started ruling under the guidance of Lord Krishna. He was not ruling on his own, thinking that okay, now I am the king, I can do whatever I want, and I let me create some policies which are going to benefit me. Like we know nowadays there are so many rulers who create their own policies. Like we know the country called North Korea, they have their own rules there, which is set by the king. And if you see the rules properly, it is only to benefit the king, for the pleasure of the king, for the enjoyment of the king. But Yudhishthir Maharaj was not doing that. He was following the guidance of Lord Krishna, and then he was ruling. And nowadays also we see, I think the current prime minister is following the guidance of Bhagavad Gita. We have seen him in so many places, safeguarding the Sanatan Dharma and helping and respecting devotees. So such kind of rulers, when they come into power, the entire kingdom will be blissful, and that is what we see in the kingdom of Yudhishthir Maharaj, and that is what we see in the kingdom of Lord Sri Ram, in the kingdom of Lord Sri Krishna. It is said that Dwarika was so beautiful that the heavenly kingdoms residents, they used to feel jealous, seeing that okay, Dwarika being in the planet Earth, it is more opulent than heaven. So that was the situation when Lord Krishna was ruling. Okay, so that's the beauty about these nice, wonderful rulers who rule as per the guidance of the Supreme Lord Krishna, and not on their own wills. So that is the character of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir is the one who remains sthir in the yudh, who remains stable in the war. It's called Yudhishthir, who doesn't compromise on the on his duties, who doesn't compromise on the guidance of the dharma. That is called Yudhishthir. So we get a lot to see from Yudhishthir, and we learn a lot from Yudhishthir, that whatever circumstances we may be in, but it is important that we do not compromise on the principles which we have got from the scriptures, from the Guru. So it is very important. And then we see that in the character of Dhritarashtra. So if you see character of Dhritarashtra, we from the very beginning we see that how he was not very happy with himself, and he always wanted more and more, and he was always lamenting. And that is the situation of the people who are always lamenting, who are always negative. We need to be very enthusiastic. We need to be very positive. Do you know why we need to be very enthusiastic and positive? It is important because if we are not enthusiastic and positive, we are going to miss our human life, just by complaining, by lamenting, by thinking that okay, I did not get good, or by always complaining that everybody else is enjoying but I'm not enjoying. Whatever I've got in my life is not good. Seeing negative in everything, that's very bad, because we will be wasting our time lamenting. Yesterday I was listening a very nice Bhagavatam class in New Rajapur ISKCON. So there the Prabhuji was mentioning that we shouldn't waste our human life even doing the research and everything. Like people want to research who is God, how. So he said the life is very short. And if we are wasting our life in researching, just imagine by the end of the lifetime, if by research somehow, it is not possible, but somehow if you are able to understand God, then how are you going to serve the God? Because you are already in the deathbed. So it is not let. So we have to be very careful not to waste our time, and that is why we need to be very, very enthusiastic and very positive in our attitude. You see, Dhritarashtra, he had a very bad karma of his previous life. He killed 100 birds in a nest. Then he was an archer. He shot an arrow with the fire, and that arrow was shot on a tree, and the tree had got more than 100 birds, and their nest in that. So all these small, the babies of these birds, they were killed in that fire. So he had a very severe karma, but that reaction he did not face in his very next lifetime. He had to wait 50 lifetimes, 50 lifetimes. Why he had to wait 50 lifetimes? It is said that to get a son, you need to do a lot of tapasya and good karmas. So Dhritarashtra was doing good karmas in the next 50 lifetimes, and when all his good karmas were achieved, then he got 100 sons as when he became Dhritarashtra. And after that, his 100 sons were killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, in the war of Kurukshetra. So you see how this karmic reaction work. Once we do any sinful activity, we can never ever overcome that. Even if you do some good activities, like Dhritarashtra did very pious activities for the next 50 lifetimes to get 100 sons, but it was only created so that all his 100 sons will be lost. So you see, it is very, very dangerous if we are not keeping a watch on our action. As a devotee, also we need to be very, very careful. Like we always recite the shloka when we meet the devotees or when we leave a meeting. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So it should not be read just by just a small student will student of second standard will read two ones are two, two twos are four, two threes are six, and doesn't mean anything. So we should not recite these prayers just for the sake of saying. We as a devotee we should set ideal examples of keeping ourselves behind than other devotees. That is something which pleases Lord Shri Krishna. If we are always struggling and running and trying to compete with the devotees, then we are doing the same thing which we are doing outside in the material world. Right there we have to fight, we have to run. We do not have a choice there. But as a devotee, we definitely have a choice to stay back and give chances, opportunities, and become a real well-wisher of other devotees. And why you do that? Because that is what pleases Krishna. That is what makes Krishna very happy. That is what makes Guru very happy, to cooperate and always give opportunities to others. So that is how we should be in our life. So I was talking about the karma. So there is only one way how you can overcome these sinful karmic reaction, and thus that one way is to chant the holy name of the Lord. When we chant the holy name of the Lord, when we chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it counteracts the sinful activities which we have done in the past. So we need to stop doing the sinful activities and we have to chant nicely. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, not only 16 rounds. We have to do our 16 rounds on bead bag, and then we have to do our other rounds when we are walking, when we are talking, when we are moving, when we are waiting for something, when we are rebooting our system, when we are anytime when we are free, before we are going to sleep, in our sleep, always we need to practice remembering Krishna. Because remember, if we do not practice remembering Krishna, then when the test comes, we might not be able to remember Krishna. So we have to be like that, and that is how we can overcome the past reactions. So Dhritarashtra got this reaction, then he was born as a blind person. So he was not, even though he was elder, he was not selected to be a king because he was blind. So his younger brother Pandu became the king, and from that time Dhritarashtra was very envious. He became envious. That's again one very bad thing. If you become envious, it opens doors to all other bad qualities. This enviousness is the very first door. When it opens, it invites all the bad qualities, and we become doomed, we become bewildered. So we should never be envious like the Rashtra. We should accept with whatever is coming in our way and understand. So at this point of time, if Rashtra understood this, that he is elder, but he is blind, simple as that. So he is not eligible to become the king. He had to just understand this much. So he had a desire and he becomes a king when Pandu, he was dead. So Dhritarashtra, after becoming king, for some time he did not want to give up. See, Lord had fulfilled his desire to become a king, correct? So it was his duty, the second chance that Dhritarashtra got, that when he became the king and when the son of Pandu, that is Pandavas, grown up, so that point of time it was the duty of Dhritarashtra to give away the kingdom to them, but he did not do that. He did not correct his sons when they were doing wrong things. So Dhritarashtra was very, very, he was very, he liked his son Duryodhan so much that he didn't want to correct him. He was thinking, he's my son, he's the son of king, so he can do certain things. It's okay. But you see, if he had corrected Duryodhana at a very young age, then Duryodhana would have been alive, and not only Duryodhana, all his sons would have been alive. So this is important. One very small thing, that when our children do wrong things, or not only children, when somebody in our relationship, as a mother or father or anybody, if a brother, if they are doing wrong things, if we do not correct them, thinking that okay, they are mine, let them do wrong things, it is going to bring so much misfortune to us, like it happened to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra also had some very good well-wishers like, Vidura, who was always, giving him guidance, warning him. But Dhritarashtra was, giving a complete, he was just not considering the advice from Vidura. He just became deaf when Vidura was advising. So like that, we also have so many, senior Vaishnavas who keep advising us, Prabhuji, it is high time that you take initiation. Prabhu, I think you should write your Siksha papers. Prabhu and Mataji, I think you should come at least once in a week for Bhakti Vriksha and attend a Sunday feast. And there are various guidance which the seniors provide, and they sometimes warn us that the job which you are doing, it is not favorable for Krishna consciousness. Correct? They advise us, do not marry somebody who is not a Vaishnava, because your life will become miserable. We get carried away. No, no, no. I love that lady. I love that person. I love that man. It's okay. They will become devotees. No, it's better if they are devotees. It is good, you know. Or if they listen to you, that they become devotee even before you're married. So there are so many things. There are so many guidance, warnings which are given by the seniors. But if we just ignore them, our plight is going to be same like Dhritarashtra. And the funny part is that Dhritarashtra becomes comfortable even after losing 100 children, even after losing the entire kingdom. He was nicely living in the quarters, in the room provided by Yudhishthir Maharaj in the palace. And Yudhishthir was coming and greeting him every day, taking his blessings. And that point of time, Vidura actually scolds him very badly. He says, "Your condition is like a dog who is living on the bread thrown by the Bhima." Why he took the name of Bhimsen? Because it was Bhimsen who killed mercilessly the children of Duryodhana. I mean, children of Dhritarashtra. So when Vidura gives such kind of thrashing to Dhritarashtra, it was then that Dhritarashtra decided, okay, it is time for me to self-realize. At at that point of time, Dhritarashtra realizes, okay, it is high time that I become self-realized, and then he moves forward for self-realization. And we see such wonderful ideal character of Gandhari that she follows Dhritarashtra at that point of time. You know, that is, I mean, Gandhari's example is amazing. And Prabhupada is mentioning here very clearly. He says the character of Gandhari, and he's comparing. He says that she was no less than Bhishma. Just imagine one of the Mahajan's character. Gandhari is compared because she was serving her husband, completely, and she was kind towards everybody. So that's the wonderful character of Gandhari. So these are the learnings we learned from Dhritarashtra's, and we also learned how we can avoid the disaster which Dhritarashtra had to face. So now the question comes: what should be the attitude of a devotee? So first, very important point is that devotee should never complain. Correct. So I'll tell you a story. There was a person who had, a couple of horses in his house. So there was a person who had a couple of horses in his house, and this person, once what happened? This person's horses, they were stolen. So when the horses were stolen, he should be actually very sad, but he was not sad. He was okay. So other people said, "Hey, your horses are stolen. Are you not feeling sad about it?" He said, "No, whatever happens, happens by the will of the Lord. I'm fine with this. What can I do? I took care of the horses. I tied them in the stable, and I took whatever I can." So he did everything from his side. But even then, if somebody is stolen, what else can he do? So he was not morose. He was not sad. So after a few days, he find couple of horses, the wild horses, and somehow he was able to bring them to their houses. So he was happy. Okay, now I've got these wild horses. I will train them. But other people were they were saying, "Arey, these are wild horses. How can you even train them? It's okay." But he said, "No, it's the will of the Lord that I found these. Maybe Lord has compensated. I will try my best." And he was doing his best. And these wild horses were trained by this person, and he was happy. Then after some time, when his son was riding the horse, because these were wild horses, the son, actually these wild horses did not behave well with the son, and the son fell from the horse and his leg broke. So when the leg broke, so neighbors came and they said, "See, I told you this is not good. White horses will never be like, domestic animals." But this person was not negative that point of time also. He said, "Okay, fine, whatever is the will of the Lord, it's fine. We can't do much about it. We tried. Whatever opportunity I got, I worked very hard. And if this is what has to happen, it is fine. My elder son's leg is broken. It's okay." We can do nothing. We will take the medicine and we'll follow. We'll go. And then people were, not talking good about him. They were saying, "Arey, this person is a fool. He's always considering whatever happens, it is good." And then finally, what happened? This country was in war, and when the country was in war, so it became a law of the country that everybody who has, who has a son in the family, that son will be recruited in the army. They have to go for the war. So what happens? All these neighbors' children, neighbors' sons, elder sons, they were recruited for the war and they were sent in the war. Some of them died also. But when the turn of this person's son came, they did not recruit him. You know why? Because his leg was broken. So he was not sent to the war and he was saved. He did not die in the war. So you see, the end result was this person, in spite of ups and downs, he was very, very confident and he did not give up, trusting the Lord. And he was happy. He was doing his duties. It was not that he was not doing his duties. He did his duties, but he left the result to Lord. And that is what even Bhagavad Gita says. So that should be the attitude of a devotee. I was hearing a lecture of Amrendra Das Prabhu. So Amrendra Das Prabhu was said there was a person who wanted to avoid the problems. So somebody asked him, "What is your problem?" So he said, "My problem is that I'm staying in a city called Mumbai, and Mumbai is very crowded. So when I go in train, it is crowded. When I go in bus, it is crowded. So there are so many problems. You know what? I'm planning to move to London. Let me go to London because London's facilities are very good." So what he did, he actually got transferred to London, and now he was happy. When he was traveling in the bus, there was nobody in the bus. Only the driver was in the bus, and this person was in the bus. So he thought, okay, now I have become so happy. See, in Mumbai, there was so much of trouble, so much of crowd, and people used to push, and there were so many problems. But you see, in London, the bus is empty. Only I am there, and the driver is there. So this person, he saw there are CCTV cameras in the bus. Then he asked the driver, "Why there are CCTV cameras in the bus?" So the driver said, "You know what? There is nobody in the bus, and sometimes there are some people who come into the bus. Some gundas, they will come into the bus and they will loot the passengers, and sometimes they will kill the passengers also. And that is why these CCTV cameras are there, so that if somebody kills you, the image is captured and we can find the culprit." And then this person became very scared that, I came from Mumbai to this place because to avoid the problems. But you see, here the problem is bigger problem. At least Mumbai was full of crowd, nobody was killing me. But here there is a chance that I may get killed by somebody. So Amrendra Das Prabhu says that the problems will be there, but a devotee never thinks the problems as problems, but considers them as the opportunity for purification. See, our mind is designed in such a manner that we always complain. I was hearing a lecture of, I am forgetting Prabhu's name. Prabhu stays in Trivandrum, and can somebody help me? Jagat Sakshi Prabhu, yes. So Prabhu's lecture I was hearing, Prabhu said our mind is designed in such a manner that we are always complaining, correct? We are complaining that, "Prabhu, I have got this problem, my stomach is aching, my back is aching, my head is aching, my eyes are hurting." Like that, we keep complaining. But we never see the positive side, when everything is working fine, when my eyes are good, we never say, "Prabhu, I'm very happy, my eyes are good. Prabhu, I'm very happy, my kidney is good. Prabhu, I'm very happy, my cholesterol is good." We never become happy. We take them for granted. It's okay. But when the problems come, then we focus on the problem all the time. So there are so many good things, which are around us, which are happening around us. Instead of focusing on the negative, we should focus on the positive, correct? Because whatever we have positive, we can make use of them, and we can transform the life of our life, and also we can transform so many other people's life when we are positive. Remember, all the great people who have done great job in the world, they were also part of the same world. They were not staying in Goloka and doing good things. Now everybody, all the great people who are there in the material world also, like scientists like Albert Einstein and other people like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, all these people, they were all in the material world and they could do good. So why they could do good? Because they focus on the positive. So we should also see with us that there are so many positives with us. I can mention some of the very positive points that We are in this wonderful sampradaya. That's a very, very most powerful point. Some of us are initiated, very powerful, positive point, because initiation doesn't happen, on its own, and it doesn't happen just by chance. After so many births, lifetime struggle, somebody gets a guru. We have a guru, correct? Many of you are in shelter. Many of you are aspiring. You should be very, very happy, correct? We do not have a trouble. We have a house, we have a job, we have a family, we have devotees, we have senior Vaishnavas to help and guide us. We have a temple, we have wonderful deities, we have yatras, we have everything with us. So instead of becoming happy and enthusiastic, why should we be distracted by the uh, by the offers given by Maya? Why should we be attracted and distracted? So those are few of the positive points, and there are so many positive points. We are born in the Kali Yuga. The importance of Kali Yuga is that we can chant the holy name and get all the purification and mercy of the Lord just by chanting. We are born in an age where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just appeared 500 years back. We are born in an age where Lord Shri Krishna just appeared 5,000 years back. It doesn't happen in every Dwapar and Kali Yuga that Lord comes. So we are so fortunate. We are staying in a country called India. Bharat Bhumi Hule Manusha Janma Jara Janma Sarthak Kari Kar Parupakara. So instead of Parupakara, Janma Sarthak, we are doing so many other nonsense things. So we need to be positive. That's the point. We have to be focusing on whatever we have. We have to make the best use of whatever we have got. I will give this example and then I'll wind up. Prabhupada was mentioning in his lecture that there was a warrior, there was a Sainik. So this person, he is fighting in the war and his head gets chopped. He is dying, but before dying also he is just one time he is moving his sword so that he is trying to kill at least one or two people before he dies. So that's the attitude of a warrior. When he goes to a war, he tries his best. Even when the head is chopped off, also he's trying. So that is how should be the mode of a devotee. Whatever we have got, we should try our best to purify ourselves first, and then help other Vaishnavas and the other devotees, and then engage ourselves in complete preaching. Preaching is very, very important, and that is why we should be always happy. We should lead our life with full enthusiasm, and we should because we have surrendered to the Lord, so there are all blessings which are going to come our way. Very quickly, I will also touch upon the duties of the woman. A woman must serve the husband, and that husband who is engaged in the service of the Lord. And if the husband is not engaged in the service of the Lord, so what the women can do, they can prepare nice prasadam, nice bhoga offer to the Lord, and feed the husband nicely, take care of the husband. So sometimes it is possible that by the good example of the woman, the husband's heart can get transformed. And I was hearing a lecture and Prabhuji was mentioning that even if the husband is not doing anything, just by feeding prasadam, the husband gets a chance that in the next life they will become a human. Somebody who honors prasadam regularly, they have a surety that they are going to become a human in the next life. So that is why we should do prasadam distribution. So that's the beauty of a woman, that serve husband, even if the husband is not a devotee. So serve in a manner wherein you don't follow everything what the husband says, but yes, try to feed nice prasadam to the husband, take care of the husband, so that there is a transformation of heart. And then the woman should take care of the elders in the family. Sometimes it is noted that when we become devotee and when we have services, we ignore our duty as a mother, we ignore our duty as a father, we ignore our duty as a daughter-in-law. So we have elders in the family. So the lady, the women should take care of them in a Krishna consciousness manner. Somehow create situations so that the elders can also chant, create situations so that the elders are also able to read, create situations so that the elders are also able to visit the temple, help them, serve them, take their blessings. So, and then one very important duty of a woman is to train the children in Krishna consciousness. The mother is called the first guru, and I remember my mother, she used to always keep our life very simple. Like I never had the cable TV in my house till I completed my 12th standard. She said, no watching cable TV and all. You have to do your exams and all that you can do later on. And we were very, very simple in our lifestyle, not buying so many clothes, not, it's not, it was not mandated that we buy new clothes on every festival, till we had the old clothes. So we were just, managing with that. And my brother's uncle used to wear the t-shirt which I used to, which were short for me. So like that, my mother, she gave very nice principles, even though we were not in ISKCON. And when we joined ISKCON, it became very blissful because everything which was trained by me to my by my mother to me, I found everything in ISKCON. So it became very easy for me to pick up the principles of ISKCON because it was something which I liked. So that is the role of a mother, that they can do wonders, and they can create very nice children, Krishna conscious children, and they can preach extensively. So that was the small point I wanted to touch upon, the duty of women. And then one very last point, the urgent need to preach. It is very important that we engage ourselves in preaching. We keep seeing so many bad things in the newspaper. No, there are corruptions, there are wars, there are fights, there are anger, there is hatred, there is crime against children, small children. There are crime against them, whether it is a boy or girl, doesn't matter. People are mad, rapes for the women, for the girls, and crime for elders, killing elders, wars. So many things are there, and we feel bad about it. But what are we doing? If we are just feeling bad, then it is not good. We are not doing our duty. We, as a devotee, we should try to preach. If you make one devotee also, that devotee is automatically going to not do all those things. Correct? You can stop somebody, from eating non-vegetarian food. You can stop somebody from eating alcohol. I mean, drinking alcohol. But if you make a person a devotee, that person stops doing all nonsense thing, and he or she starts working towards safeguarding society, which is good for everybody. So that is why it is a urgent need to preach. If you really feel bad about all these things which are happening in the society, there's a nature which is getting destroyed. So we should preach extensively. We should chant some extra round for mother cow who is getting slaughtered, for all these crimes which are happening, for war victims. We should chant extra rounds. That is our help, which we can do to them. And one last point was there, but I don't think there is time. I will try to cover up this one in the next class. There I will mention about how Lord bewilders the atheist. So I will start. I will stop here. So today we have covered a few points from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.48. We discussed about, we compared the attitude of Yudhishthir Maharaj and the leaders today. We also understood why Yudhishthir Maharaj was a very nice ruler, because he was following the guidance of Lord Shri Krishna, and the leaders today also can follow the guidance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and become a good leader. Then we also understood the Dhritarashtra's character, and what are the learnings we get from Dhritarashtra, what we should not do. And we also learned about the attitude of a devotee. The devotee never complains. We touched upon the duties of women. We also talked about the urgent need to preach. So these are the couple of points which we have discussed today from today's shlokas. So if I have made any mistake, I seek forgiveness from you. Please do forgive me. And please do correct me if I have done something, if I have said something wrong. The session is open to all of you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patita Pavan Guru Maharaj ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So now devotees can unmute and you can ask your questions if you have any. Hare Krishna.